Hi everybody, Ákos and Lina here. A little later than we have planned, but we are determined to give you the great content that we have prepared today.
Yeah, first of all, we wanted to say a huge thank you for all of you who supported us during the early access and helped us reporting bugs before and after the launch. Please keep that coming because we are working really hard to make an exceptional pinball game for you.
Hey everyone, Mel here. I'm in our Budapest office and visiting the team. It's been a couple weeks since the Pinball FX launch. I hope you're all enjoying the game. I wanted to give you a quick update on where we are, what the next releases are going to be, and also answer some of your burning questions. What's next for Pinball FX? Well, April's going to have a big content update. All right, we are going to have some legendary surprises. We're going to have a Williams surprise and a brand new partner with a table that you probably never saw coming. So there's a lot of great new content. We'll also have some remasters, I believe, rolling out. But I do have an update on actual platform launches. We had been targeting Nintendo Switch for April. Well, we love this little device, but it is a challenge to work on. There's a lot of optimization work still going, and we can already tell that we're not going to be ready for April. So, telling you right now that's getting pushed back. Our new target is July. However, there will still be a platform release in April, which we will confirm in the coming days. So just sit tight on that. About some specific features, I know some of you have asked about like survival mode, or what about a feature that tells me when I log into the game that my friend beat my score. Those are things that we're putting on our roadmap, and I don't have a date of specifically when those will be done, but we hear your feedback on features, so those have been added to the roadmap, and we'll get them out as soon as possible. There's also a lot of questions about remasters, and some of the games that we haven't been able to release yet. I can tell you games like Bethesda Pinball, those are on our remaster roadmap. There's others that you've been wondering, will they ever return to the collection? Like some Zen originals, maybe like Super League Football. That is probably happening since that's our own content. That's easy to do. No date yet, but hey, we've heard you loud and clear. That's very requested, so good chance that's happening. There's some other big surprises coming this year. We hear a lot of questions about South Park. That would be very, very great to get out. We'll see what happens there. Stay tuned. And some of these others, Aliens vs. Pinball, Balls of Glory, there's things that we're working on. Can't quite confirm, but all this content, all these games, we want to get them to you. We want to get them into FX, maybe even Portal and Walking Dead. You never know. So stay tuned for more on the content side of things. All right, so that's the update I have for you today. Stay tuned for a more formal announcement and presentation in April. Once again, thank you so much for supporting Zen Studios and for playing Pinball FX. It's incredible. We just announced, I think, like 500,000 players in the game, and we're approaching another milestone, and we'll cross that soon, I'm sure. It's just been an unbelievable response, a little overwhelming for us, but just goes to show the game of pinball is healthy, it's alive, it's exciting for a whole new player base. And for those of you who have been with us for a long time, we thank you sincerely from the entire team here in Budapest. I'll talk to you again soon. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you, Mel. Let's kick things off with the Borderlands developer segment. This time, we try to create a more detailed version, hearing your feedback on the Adams Family one.
Welcome pinball fans to a game of looting and jackpot shooting. Ákos here standing in for Zoltán Vézévári, who extends a big high five to everybody, but asked me to read his words regarding the scoring tips for the Borderlands table. Borderlands Vault Hunter Pinball is a brand new table released just 2 days ago to Pinball FX, part of Gearbox Pinball. In our last Adams Family segment, many of you mentioned you'd like some more in-depth tips in these segments. Well, Zoltán delivered for this one. The biggest scores. The biggest jackpots are waiting for you in the wizard mode of the table, of course, which is the final boss fight multi-ball. The wizard jackpot is the sum of the highest super jackpots of the former boss fights. To start a boss fight, you must lock at least 3 balls. However, you are able to lock up to 8 balls under the Psycho, and the more balls are getting in the multi-ball, the bigger the chance that you can collect the super jackpot from the upper playfield. The most common way to lock a ball is to irritate the Psycho by making ramp combos. During a ramp combo, the Psycho will jump down to the playfield, and beating him will open the lock at the right ramp. The quick lock feature will open the lock device immediately, but temporarily. You just have to shoot the right loop twice. The third way to lock is the free lock. This method is for the professional looters, who can open the safe behind the enemy grunts and collect its content. Shoot and loot. Just like in the original games, there is an endless firefight on this pinball table. There are bandit-shaped drop targets in the middle of the playfield, and they don't give up their lives easily. They drop only halfway after a single hit, and headshots are needed to make critical hits. However, you can collect legendary weapons, cool sniper rifles that kill instantly. You just have to loot the chest behind the enemy. By hitting a chest, it will open, and a jump ramp will emerge in front of it. When a ball lands in a chest, a significant score will be collected, and after some looting, you will get a legendary weapon. Try to loot the smaller chests to make more progress, not to mention the free lock, which is in the safe, the smallest one. Secondary modes. If you have a legendary weapon, you can make a chain kill, which will start the sniper spree mode. This is a good opportunity to collect huge amounts of points within a short time. The catch a ride station is an even greater opportunity to score. If you spin the outrunner at the upper left of the table, it will increase the catch a ride multiplier. Increase this multiplier as long as you want, then hit the ramp around the vehicle for bumper hits. Both of these shots are available with the upper right flipper. After a few bumper hits, Catch a Ride Hurry Up starts, and with a huge multiplier in stock, it will be a very lucrative game mode. During the Catch a Ride Hurry Up, you must keep the vehicle on the right path. And here's a tip, you can change this path by flipping both flippers at the same time. Second Wind. The Second Wind feature may be familiar to the fans of the original Borderlands games, and it works very similarly. Complete the wind rollover targets next to the slingshots as soon as possible, then a drain will not going to be the end of the ball. If Second Wind is lit and the ball is lost, you will have a last chance to take down one enemy, a drop target, quickly in order to get back into play. MagnaSave. Collecting the W and the D letters from the outlanes is a little bit tricky, but you can avoid the certain drain if MagnaSave is active. The MagnaSave can be activated by hitting the leftmost stand-up target, though the feature remains active only for a limited time. When MagnaSave is lit and the ball drains through the left or right outlane, an electromagnet will be turned on, which will magnetize the draining ball back onto the playfield. Leveling up. Shooting down common bandits is not the main goal of the table, but it can score much as well. There is a spinning target in the big loop of the table, and every revolution of this target will increase the level progress bar. The scoring of the gunfights can be increased by leveling up. And now a secret tip. If you are annoyed by some of the lines of Claptrap, you can shut him up by holding one flipper up and flipping 4 times with the other one.
Hey, you must be the...
Thank you, that's all the tips I had. Back to the studio. Wow, some great tips in there. Thank you Zoltan for supplying the knowledge of his great Borderlands table. We have asked a couple of questions of our other developers, namely Anna, Gary, Deep is making a comeback, and David from the QA team, which I think you'll find interesting.
I'm Anna, one of the pinball game designers at Zen Studios.
Hi, I'm Gary, a pinball designer.
My name is Peter Graffel, or as many of you may know me, Deep. I'm the lead pinball designer.
My name is David Schemperger. I work on the Pinball FX project at Zen Studios as a quality assurance tester.
I've designed Trolls Pinball, Curse of the Mummy, and Homeworld Journey to Higara pinball tables.
So far, I've worked on the Wrath of the Elder Gods table.
My first design was Marvel's Fantastic Four, and since then I was involved in 28 more tables, like Star Wars episode tables, Back to the Future, Son of Zeus, and many Williams Bally tables.
I worked on the Kung Fu Panda and My Little Pony tables full-time, and I was involved with 50 plus other tables in some capacity.
Alright, Brothers in Arms Win the War Pinball is another newcomer to the Pinball FX family. Let's hear some details about it from Tom, the table's designer.
Hi pinball fans, I'm Tom, pinball designer at Zen Studios, and I'm happy to tell you about my brand new table, Brothers in Arms Win the War Pinball. In this table, you'll have to stick close to your brothers as you complete missions and liberate towns within the Netherlands, now armed with a silver ball and your skills. As with many pinball tables, the best way to earn a large score is to get to the Wizard mode, and Brothers in Arms Win the War Pinball is no exception. However, to reach the Wizard mode on this table, you will need to complete 5 main missions first. Here are some hints to help you achieve this. There are 2 main missions where timers are used, Infiltration and the first part of Air Raid. By spelling Baker at the left orbit, the amount of time given is increased. Additionally, for the time sections of these missions, some progress is also remembered in case of mode failure, so keep on pushing towards victory. For the remaining 3 missions, Defense, Bridge, and resistance. And also the second part of Air Raid, additional balls are present representing your squad. These added balls can help you quickly progress the required 12 shots, but they aren't necessary to complete the mode. If only one ball remains, you can still complete the mission. Just take your time and make your shots count. Spelling Recon and then shooting the flashing lane will increase mission shot scores, and spelling Red will increase the mission win scores. Make sure to also collect the supply drops after spelling drop and hitting the revealed sinkhole so you don't run out of ammo during the missions. After reaching the wizard mode, you will liberate one town, and the liberation multi-ball starts. Liberate all 4 towns, the progress of which is remembered between games, and the next time the wizard mode starts, the Win the War multi-ball will begin. The rules and scoring for these 2 multi-balls are the same, though you are rewarded with a different intro for winning the war. I hope this helps you get the hang of the table. Good luck on the leaderboards.
Wow, Brothers in Arms looks like an awesome table. Nice work, Tom. And now, let's go back to our developers again.
So as a designer, you are not just designing the table, but you are also the product owner of the table. So you have to do a lot of project management stuff. So you need a lot of skills for the whole project. But personally for me, the hardest part is always when you have to draw the layout from the blank.
As a junior designer, the biggest challenge for me is when the implementation and the design collide, and what seems good on paper might not work. So when the tester or the 3D designer comes to you with a problem, you have to readjust the design.
The biggest challenge as a lead pinball designer is to coordinating all the tables in development and keeping the deadlines.
As a QA tester, perhaps the most difficult thing is to keep track of all the information during a project's lifetime, because we have to communicate with programmers, designers, and graphic artists as well.
Next up, we are going to have an interview with Wilbers, who is a very respected member of our community, and he will share some insights about his digital pinball journey in Pinball FX. Welcome, James. Maybe the players know you as Wilbers because they can see you on the top of the leaderboard. So welcome to the community segment of the Pinball Show. We are really glad that you accepted our invitation. We wanted to do a little segment with you just to bring in the community to the Pinball Show and see how our players think and play our game. So first of all, if you could introduce yourself a little.
Well, I'm James, also known as Wilbers, as you've mentioned, and and I got into playing Pinball FX3 about mid 2018. Just discovered it, and before that, I didn't really know digital pinball existed terribly much. The last time I played was on the Amiga.
Oh, okay, I see.
Like about 1990-ish.
Okay, so you joined the Pinball FX family in 2018. Do you remember why did you start playing pinball, or what did catch your eye when you started playing?
It was a Steam Summer Sale 2018, and it's a thing where it shows you random things, and one of them was pinball.
Oh, okay.
I thought, oh, looks interesting. I sort of had a look at it. And at the end of the sale, I bought about a third of the tables in FX3, and I just got all the other ones by the end of the year.
Do you remember which was the first table you have ever played on in the Pinball FX family, or?
Well, there was Adventureland was one of the early ones. That was one of the really fun ones. And Wild West Rampage, and the same thing, and Back to the Future.
Since you are one of the master players of our digital pinball family, do you have any method how you start to play the game? If, for example, we have a new user engineer, do you have a method to start? Just play the game and learn in the meantime?
Yeah, just have a few games on it, just see what it's like with it, and try and find out what things do, and then I might just read a page of the rules if there's something I think it's going to be in there. I'll maybe find out what the skill shot is. Then have another few goes, and then after a bit read all the rules.
Do you have any favorite tables in the current roster in Pinball FX 3 and from the new tables in Pinball FX?
Yeah, well, out the Williams tables, Medieval Madness and Attack from Mars, either of those are pretty much tied. And then there's World Cup Soccers, that's a really fun one.
I have mentioned many times that you are a very pro digital pinball player, but how many hours does it take to get there? How many hours do you play?
Looking at what Steam says, the number that I've played since summer 2018, it's about 6 hours a day, roughly.
Oh my God, 6 hours a day.
I mean, 6 hours a week, sorry.
Oh, a week, all right.
Yeah.
So, because 6 hours a day, oh my God, that's so much pinball. There might be other players who maybe don't have this much time to play a pinball table. Do you have any advice for them how to start to play a table, how to get better, how to get bigger scores, maybe?
Well, first of all, make sure you have fun doing it. Yeah. And second of all, look at the artwork around the flippers. Use various bits in the artwork to try and line the shots up.
According to our data, among our experienced players, the Star Wars theme tables are the most played ones. Do you have any favorite from the franchise?
Yes, Starfighter Assault.
And do you have any tricks, maybe just and would like to share it with the community?
Yeah, there's an upgrade system on that one, and you upgrade the shields on home one, and then there's mission 5. It's quite a tricky one, but if you do that first, it makes it a lot easier.
All right, maybe I will try it in the next Tuesday pinball stream before actually the pinball show hits. Maybe I can get to the top, maybe to the top 10 before everyone knows about this tactic. So thank you very much. From the Williams collection that is not part of the Pinball FX family, would you like to see any of them? Do you have any table you have played in real life, or and it is not in the game yet?
Yeah, there's Star Trek Next Generation.
Okay, that's a big one. Who knows? Maybe you will see it in the game sometime in the future. I always say that when I read community comments or feedback that somebody likes the table, that I can pass on the request, but it's not up to me. So hopefully we will see that. All right. Thank you very much, Wilbers, for being here. And I hope to see you in the next Tuesday pinball stream, and I hope you will watch the pinball show.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Some of you might remember a mysterious art piece that we have shared last year concerning huge monsters and a pinball. I think it was pretty well received. Well, we will have much more news on Godzilla vs. Kong in the following weeks, so stay tuned and check out the art again now.
Next up, we are going to have probably the most interesting part of the developer interview, because they will share their dream table concept and some hints about their next coming tables.
Wow. What's a concept that you would like to do, Linda?
Probably Transformers dream table.
Nice.
That's my go-to. What about you?
That would be Futurama for me, and I've been saying this for years. So let's see what the developers had to say.
I would love to design a Harry Potter themed pinball table.
I would love to design a table based on an old classic, Jack Rabbit 2.
I am lucky because I have already done my favorite IP, Back to the Future. That was my love project. And if I have to say one more, it would be Killer Instinct, one of the best fighting games that was in the 90s.
One of my favorite games is Doom, so I would be very happy to work on another Doom table.
Currently, I'm working on a Williams table.
Music?
We are working on something horrific.
We have another community hero, Robo, who tells Lina all about his pinball and Pinball FX journey. Check it out.
I would like to introduce Robo, a digital pinball pro and a Pinball FX veteran, who will share insights about his pinball history and some useful tips for beginners and maybe pro players as well. Alright, my first question is, when did your obsession start with pinball?
We had always one pinball table to play at a local youth center, We had always Williams tables like Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness. And, I wouldn't really call it an obsession, it's more like a hobby or a sport. For me, those tables in the 90s, it was just incredible to play on those. It was just fantastic. We always had a lot of fun. It cost a lot of guldens that we had at the time. We have now euros, of course, but at the time we had guldens. And it was always a blast.
Yeah, I can imagine. Do you actually remember what was the first table you played on?
I can't really recall what the first physical table I played on was, but it must have been a Williams. Probably Williams, because we always had Williams at the youth center. And digital, I think it was Pinball for the NES. It must have been the game, first digital game I played.
Wow, that was a very long time ago. As you are a very experienced player, do you have any advice for pinball beginners?
When you've just started playing pinball, I think it's important to just have fun and shoot the ball around. And then when you feel like you get some control, you're able to control the ball a little, then it's time to dive into the pinball tricks, like the dead flip and the live catch. Through the time, you'll start to get more and more control, and eventually you'll start to beat tables. That's the best approach, I think.
Yeah, I kind of follow the same method on new tables, as you can see on the Tuesday pinball stream. I was wondering, as we can see you on the top of the leaderboards on many tables, how much time do you actually invest in playing pinball, for example, on a week?
I would say usually around 10 hours. But if there's a new table out, I might play a lot more.
Yeah, and there are a lot of them nowadays. I was very curious whether you have a favorite one in the current roster.
My favorite table is probably Tales of the Arabian Nights. I just love the story that it tells, and the use of colors on the play field, and the layout with that special ramp, and that loop, and the way it plays, the way it feels, the way the shots feel. And the wizard mode is always exciting battle against the genie. I totally love the table.
Yeah, don't tell me. I have only reached the wizard mode once, but it was a spectacular battle against the genie, as you mentioned it. Since you brought up a great classic from the 90s, I was wondering what other physical table would you like to see recreated in Pinball FX?
I really hope we'll see Indianapolis 500 in the future. The layout and the team and the call-outs and everything, it's all very exciting. Very exciting table. I would love to play it on FX.
Absolutely. Turbo Bobby has to be in Pinball FX. Hopefully we will see that in the future. Now I will have one last question for you, Robo, which is that according to our data, the Roadshow table is among the top 10 most popular tables in Pinball FX. Could you share some tips with us on how to score big on these tables, because I have seen great runs from you?
I would say don't shoot the ball with the top left flipper, because that might cause a drain. Unless it's during multi-ball and you can get to collect the jackpot at the red, then of course then go ahead and try to shoot for it. Collect souvenirs. Collect as many as possible. There are guides on the internet that tell you which souvenirs are worth something and which are worth nothing. Those souvenirs add up in the bonus and the game. If you collect a ton of souvenirs and you get a ton of ramp shots, you can collect a whole lot of bonus. If you just want to beat the wizard mode and just play the modes, some modes are not very smart to play because they're very likely to drain you the ball. So for example, that mode that usually starts as first, and when you got to hit the bulldozer, that's a risky mode. You might not want to play that. So there you go.
I will definitely try these in one of the Tuesday Pinball stream episodes. And thank you very much for sharing your insights and your little pinball history here with us. And I really hope that you will like the new tables and the full launch of Pinball FX. See you on the top of the leaderboards.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you learned something about pinball or just about our new tables. For last piece of news, you will be seeing much more of the two of us in the coming months because the show has moved its headquarters here to Budapest.
Yeah, we hope that you will like the new format, and we can't wait to share the new exciting pinball stuff with you here in Budapest.
We have a lot to share, so you better tune in. Goodbye.